I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, here we go. All right, campaign ad, season 4, episode 12. This is insane. I know I say that every episode, but it's just going to get more insane as we go on. This was written by Alan Yang, who we know and love. Huge writer, producer, everything on the show. But if you are not familiar, / if you are new to, the show, he is a part of Master of None. He wrote that with the C's. He's done that show Loot, which I have yet to watch, and so many more. Have you watched Loot yet?
I haven't.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably on Peacock. It's with Maya Rudolph, so I'm sure it's somewhere on one of the streaming services.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah. Then this was directed by Dean Holland, who we also love, and there's not much else to say about him. So we've got Alan Yang and Dean Holland. Great team, great show, great episode, great cast in this episode. Oh, my God. And then I have summary written whenever.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So please forgive me as there's a lot of scribbles on this. I do this on my iPad, so I really should just erase shit when I'm editing it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben and Leslie take on their first campaign task together as a team. Andy and April go to the hospital to fix all of their problems, and Chris is starting to look at Chris. See, this is what I'm talking about. Chris is starting to look at Ron to move him up in the government.
Yes. We have lots of stories in this one. I feel like the last couple ones we haven't had as many stories to run, but there's like A, B, and C stories in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love it. And this is... I was telling Ivan, I was like, I am going to cry if I cannot do this episode because we have Bobby in Newport coming in who is amazing. And we quote so many things from this episode. This is one of my favorite times with Dr. Harris.
Yep.
So it's just a great episode all around. And
it is.
A lot of good stories.
Well, like you said, this episode starts with Bobby Newport being introduced. Oh my God.
Huge turnout.
Huge turnout. We love Bobby bars. My dad made them. Love that. This guy that's introducing him, I think this every time I watch it, but he says Pawnee weird. Like he puts the emphasis on paw. He's like, from the great city of Pawnee instead of Pawnee.
Oh yeah, huh?
And I'm always like, every time I watch it, I'm always like, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah. Why did nobody correct you? Or are they trying to show how disconnected Bobby and his team are from Pawnee?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't think it's that deep, but that would be hilarious if it was on purpose. But this guy's name is Mike Rylander, and he's been in a ton of stuff. Jane the Virgin. He did apparently on IMDb, he did social media for the Colbert Show, which is interesting.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's cool. And a lot of other things that I wasn't as familiar with, but a lot of stuff. He also did a few things on Steve Harvey on his Instagram when I followed him, and he does like interviews with kids, like those kinds of segments where they say really funny things like, what should you do to fall in love? Or what would you do? Or whatever. And they say really funny things. So he's one of those guys. And I think he's really funny.
Love it.
Yeah. And then our hero, Paul Rudd, comes out. We all know and love.
The unageable Paul Rudd.
You said what?
The unageable Paul Rudd.
Yes. Oh my God. So beautiful. Such a robot.
He just seems so genuine too. Like just the coolest dude in the whole world. Mm-hmm. So like down to earth, not up in his head. And
yeah. Not taking things too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's funny because I saw this. I mean, I had thought about it, but someone wrote it too. There's 2 Marvel characters in here now in Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah.
We've got
Pratt
and
they're in the movie together too.
Yeah, that's right. Which movie were they in?
Endgame and Infinity War would be the ones that they were in together. I don't know if they have a ton of scenes together.
I don't think so. I feel like I would have remembered it.
Yeah.
I have a confession that I've not seen Ant-Man. It
Ant-Man.
did not strike my fancy when I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. I totally will watch it. It's on my list. It's not one of my first things.
Yeah, I will be real with you. I was the same way. The only reason we ended up watching it is because when Endgame, like when its release date was announced, we started and watched every single Marvel film.
Oh, damn.
There's 23 of them, in case you were wondering, before Endgame, and Ant-Man was one of them. So I still haven't seen like Ant-Man and Wasp, like the second one or anything.
Okay, yeah.
It's funny because it's Paul Rudd, and you just gotta love Paul Rudd, but it's definitely not like Captain America or Iron Man. The staple.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I will say, I mean, yes, we love Paul Rudd, and I'll watch it just for him. But that second one, the one with Wasp, that trailer looked even, I'm so sorry, I hate to say this, looked even less appealing than the first one because it just seemed like nothing's happening. I was like, we're just, what? What
are we doing?
We're just making money at this point.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know what? Fine. But
that's how I feel now, too, about all the Marvel stuff coming out.
Yeah,
like,
there's quite a few weird ones, I feel.
Yeah, I really felt like after Endgame came out, like you toyed with all of our emotions. Everyone who had been watching since Iron Man came out, like we were all kind of ready for that to take a break. Mm-hmm. And then they're just continuing to churn out movies. I have not gone to the theater or watched on my TV because now we stream stuff instead. I have not watched a Marvel movie since Endgame.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm trying to think of which ones have come out. I have to watch the newer one, but I love the Spider-Man animated ones. Those are incredible.
I haven't seen those.
Oh,
but I've heard they're great.
They're so good. And Spider-Man's probably my favorite. But I think that like the animation, the voices, Jake Johnson is in the first one, I think, or maybe the second one. Like, it's so good. It's brilliant, I think, in my opinion.
I'll have to watch this, and I don't calculate that in my head as like a Marvel movie necessarily.
You saw the third Spider-Man though.
I did. Now that counts. Once you mentioned Spider-Man, I was like, okay, but I've watched that.
Yeah.
Because I love Tom Holland so much,
my God.
and Zendaya, and it's just
they did such a good job.
I don't know, but I love them, and Jake Gyllenhaal, he's in the second one, I think. Oh gosh,
yeah, that was good.
I don't know if there's a better actor out there. Like everything I see him in. Yeah, I'm just like, what the hell?
I can't think of him without thinking of Taylor Swift now, though. The red scarf.
Oh, see, and I'm not a big Swiftie. I'm not a Swiftie at all.
Do you know the thing about the scarf though?
No, I just know that he dated her. So here's the other thing. I have a friend who is dating somebody who's a Swiftie, and they are not allowed to watch any Jake Gyllenhaal movies in their house because
my God, that's a little too far.
Which is in my head, I'm like,
what you need to do.
Yeah, it's like everybody has their story in a relationship, bro. You're missing out on some really good movies.
Yeah, well, so basically, I mean, all the Swifties will know this, but basically, when Taylor came out with her version of All Too Well, the 10-minute version, she re-released it, and she has that line of like, you still have my scarf in your sister's house or something like this, and so many people freaked out about that, and like on the internet everybody freaked out and was like, oh my God, he's wearing a scarf, is that hers? And like there's this one lady on TikTok who like pretends to be PR for like all these famous people, and she's like hilarious. She was like pretending to be Jake Gyllenhaal's, and she was like, you are not to wear a scarf for this entire 3-month period that this is going to be like promoted / out. You are not to do that. Also, like, you should have thought about this. You should have thought about it. And it's just so funny.
Oh my gosh.
It was a huge deal, like, especially on social media after that came out. It was like, oh my God, Jake Gyllenhaal's being dragged. Because you should listen to that song. It's really hilarious. And it talks about their age difference and all that stuff. So
she's dated a couple guys that have a pretty good age difference.
Yeah. So anyhow, thank you everyone for that little tangent, but we had to talk about it. So.
Of course. Yeah, all came from Marvel and Ant-Man.
I know, right? Paul Rudd.
Worth it.
But that's the thing too. I usually with my guest stars, I usually go over everything you've been in, but Paul Rudd, we love him. I will say that they are in the, universe together, as far like Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd, like they're in their little comedy moment, Wet Hot American Summer, like all these kinds of vibes, which are amazing. So I'm glad that they get to work together on this. And I don't know how.
And I Love You Man with
what?
Rashida.
Oh, I Love You Man. Yeah, that too. Also, Amy Poehler and him. I have to look that up when they did. Oh my gosh, what's it called? Oh God, it's like a parody movie basically of a romantic comedy, and him and Amy Poehler, and it's like this pun. Oh my God, I have to look it up. It's so funny. They came together. And Bill Hader and Ellie Kemper are in it. Let's see, what year that was 2014. So that was after this. But oh my God, it was so funny.
Wow.
And I just remember it being so stupid and exactly my kind of comedy. Oh my God, so good.
Love it.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, moving on. He's just saying, I don't know why they call it a campaign because it's been a pleasure, which I think is really smart. I hope Alan Yang wrote that. That's a good one.
I do like it.
Yeah.
I know. I think Ben's like rolling his eyes or something, and I'm like,
yeah, he just looks to camera, and I think Leslie's rolling her eyes too.
Yeah.
But this is where we learn that Bobby is the heir to the Sweetums' fortune, and he's already 70 points up. And we talked about last episode how it might be late in the game for Leslie's old campaign managers to be looking for someone, but like he just entered. But also he also
2 days.
Yeah. But he has all this clout, so like it could be a mixture of both. I don't know.
And money, right?
And
like
money.
He's way more money.
So real. That's a really good point.
Okay, so I have a question here.
Yes, it might be what I'm about to explain, but I don't know.
Okay, let's see. We might all be on the same wavelength here. There's a video, several like a
this
season
is
or two
exactly
back.
what I know.
Okay, you go.
No. This is exactly where my train of thought went.
Okay.
I love seeing this when our notes match up.
I know, I love it too, because that's my question. So I'm assuming you have the answer.
And then I'll give you the answer.
Okay, so here's my question. Okay. Everybody can be with me on my question.
The answer is so stupid.
Okay, oh my gosh.
Anyway, go ahead.
So we have a couple seasons ago, right? Sweetums is against Leslie and something, so they're putting the video up, and it's this very handsome man in a vest and a flannel, right, with his dog Shoelace, and he brings his kids in. Yes. Okay. So is that another kid, or did they hire him to be Bobby in quotation marks, right? Because he's so ashamed of Bobby, the real Bobby.
Well, the answer in real life is that it was a goof. Meaning that they did not plan this. Okay. That's why I was like, it's so stupid. They didn't even really think about that old video. We did talk about this. That guy who played, let's see, I wrote it down. Nick Newport Jr., I think. Yeah, Nick Newport Jr. was his name. And we did talk about this on that episode where we thought about how his dad may have hired this Nick Newport Jr. guy to like play him because Bobby was such like a disappointment, letdown. I'm going to say that would be a really good fan theory for me. I think that's really great. And those like children that he has running around, those grandkids are not a thing. Bobby doesn't have kids. And so this was a total like mishap on their end. They did not plan this. But I and you, I think, as a fan, would love to think that this was just they were hired.
Yep. I'm on board with that. That fits for me, so I will take it.
I think that's one of the bigger like whoops moments that they've had.
Honestly, I was gonna say, something that I feel like in other shows who aren't as thorough, a lot of fans who watch the shows over and over and over again, they catch all these goofs, right? And we don't get to do that very often in the Sherverse because they're so thorough. So sometimes it's actually kind of fun for me to be like, oh, they fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the same thing. I think that this one and the other one that I was thinking of, it's not even that big, is that we don't know what Jerry's name was in like when he was a kid, because his mom said Gerald. So is he really Jerry, or is like, and he keeps saying that it's actually supposed to be Gary. But
anyway. Then the funnies were just worth it.
What's that?
The funnies were just worth it.
Totally.
Changing his name,
Yeah. So. But this one, I just don't think they even thought about it. But they do keep in tone with like the image of him. They keep with his vest. They keep his dogs, or a dog rather. So I thought that was hilarious too. And I definitely remember talking about it in the last episode because we were like, wait, what about Bobby? But you don't think that if you have never watched it before. And then I was thinking, maybe there's like this hidden son somewhere, that like they're just hiding, or Bobby was the hidden son, I guess I should say. And like Nick Newport Jr. was actually a son too. But then we learn, like we know, I mean, I don't think he ever actually says like I'm an only child, does he?
No.
Not in this episode anyway, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But it could be both.
Well, and here's the other thing. We don't ever see any other family around. Like when we go to the house or, even when Leslie chains herself to the gate, like we don't see any kids there,
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But also, if Bobby's at the house, it's because he still has to live at home because he can't do anything.
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting and funny. So we'll have to keep an eye on whether he says he's an only child or something. But otherwise, I'm going to go with one of two things. He was either, that Nick Newport Jr. guy was either hired or he's an actual son or maybe cousin or something like that. But he is like the good one, if you will. And then Bobby's like, I need to be good too. So I'm going to run and try to make my dad proud.
For city council.
Yeah. But that's funny. And I'm sure, I don't think anyone else like noticed it, but they might have, because in the first episode, like the Sweetums episode, you don't know about Bobby. So like if you were watching it, you might not even remember, but yeah, good call. Yeah. I love this line too. They go up to him and they introduce themselves and they think that Bobby already knows who they are, but clearly he has no idea. And they just want and he thinks that they just want his signature. I love so should I do Miss Lope or just Nesney?
Nesney. I love that too. So much.
Oh my God. And his I don't know. As the episode goes on, I feel like he is Andy. He is such a parallel to Andy, but he's like a rich Andy.
He's a rich Andy for sure. I also, it's not this episode, huh?
Which one?
There's a moment where he it's after the debate. Oh, I love this. When he's like, we did so well. And you're like, what the fuck? And he starts walking away, like looking everywhere.
Yes.
Like he doesn't know where he's going.
He doesn't know how to exit.
He's a golden retriever too.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. Love it.
And I love it because he doesn't know that he's running opposed. He has no idea. Ben wants to set up a debate, and then I love that guy in the background. He's like, "No, I'm pretty sure I'm running unopposed." And he looks back to the security guard, and obviously the security guard has no idea.
Yeah. Oh no. And he's there to do one job. He does not care about this campaign, I'm sure. He's just like, I'm here to keep you safe.
There's like nothing in Bobby's brain. It's just hilarious. And I think that, I don't know, there's so many points where I feel like Paul Rudd could have totally improvised half of this stuff. Like, was he supposed to look back? I bet he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I would love it to know everything that was improvised, especially when he and Amy have so many moments together.
Totally. So good.
Just magic is what it is.
And Ben's face is just like, what the F is happening? He's so confused. He's like, this person is not a person. Like, this can't be real.
Right. Well, so who approached him to do this too? Because in my thought process, Bobby Newport doesn't even know what city council is.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean...
Or he could have seen an ad on TV and was like, I'll do that.
Right. Well, I mean, remember when he's playing Wii in the other episode, the campaign bus episode, he's like, I just wanted to do this to get my dad off my back. So I don't know how he found out about it. That's a good call. I'm sure, like you said, he just like heard about it through the grapevine in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Or maybe they were having like a meeting of like how Bobby can contribute to the family. I don't know.
He was just told he was going to do it.
Right. Well, now I'm at where Andy and April see Anne because Andy is not feeling well. And it's funny because when I was watching this scene, like you do forget, you're like, Anne and Andy dated once. That's so crazy. And then by the end of the scene, she says it too. And I'm just like, oh, wow. It's so wild to be reminded of
full
that.
Circle. Yeah.
Like it's so clinical and transactional between them now, which is like really, I mean... You know, maybe it always was that way to a certain degree, but it's just really hilarious to me.
Yeah. I love this backbone that Anne has, right? She didn't always have this when April comes in and she's a bitch to her.
Yeah.
She's like, you want to try that again?
Love that.
Like, yeah, this is something we haven't necessarily seen from Anne before.
Yeah. Yes. Love it. Andy lists all of his ailments, and I like that he got a song stuck in his head, and my teeth hurt.
Some of those things are just being a human.
Yeah, I love that response. Some of those are symptoms, and some of them are just being a person.
Yeah.
But I love that Anne asks if he hit his head because there's really nothing that might show that he hit his head or any symptoms. But I just feel like Anne knows, like, that's, first of all, as a nurse, that's maybe one of the first things you ask. But secondly, I feel like she knows Andy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. She just knows Andy.
And then April's like, oh, wait, you did. Like, well, in her facial expression anyway. And then they show him hitting his head while he's hanging his record. That little scene is hilarious. I mean, it really looks like it's him, like, banging his head on the wall. So I don't know how the hell that happened. Or I tried to, like, Google that, but I don't know. It really looked like he did it.
Yeah, it does. You couldn't, it didn't look like anybody else came in and did that.
Yeah.
And it's so seamless, the transition between him sneezing, hitting his head, and then he's fine, and he goes to hammer it, and then he falls and hammers the wall.
Right. I mean, I guess they could have added in like a sound effect with it when he hits his head to make it seem more massive, like big, but still, I mean, maybe I'll have to ask Shauna if she remembers that. I should have asked that, but still crazy.
Yeah.
And then standing up, I mean, I have done this many a time. I don't do it anymore now, but like trying to stand up on like a swivel chair where you're like, no, I'll be fine. It's totally fine. It's like, not a good idea.
No, not a great plan, especially when you're on like hardwood or something. Oh my gosh.
But the point is, I have a gold record.
Yes. And that's Leslie's Christmas gift.
I know. It's so
it's
special.
a really nice callback there.
I know. They should hang the Black Eyed Peas thing right next to it. So cute. Yes. Okay, so Anne's like, you need to go to the doctor, and April's like, hey, smartass, we can't afford it, and Anne's like, yes, smartass, you can. You have insurance. Like, you can at least go to the doctor.
Which is not always true. I will say that 100% right now. Just having insurance does not mean all of a sudden you can afford to go to the doctor.
Yeah, that's fair. But typically, if you have insurance, you can at least get a free checkup. Typically. You obviously, for a specialist, that is a different story. But typically, most insurances, like dental and regular, you can at least get one checkup, like one physical a year, and then you can get like free cleanings or whatever. But Andy has so many ailments that he probably will have to see specialists, as we'll see. There is a deleted scene here, actually, where Anne is explained. I liked it, but I can see why they cut it because it wasn't as important. But Anne is explaining everything, like the insurance options, and it shows more of how she's like in charge of the health plans of the office. And I didn't obviously like she is a health person or in the health department, but I didn't really even think of that she would be in charge of their insurance plans.
Typically, you would think it would be somebody in HR.
Yeah. Yeah, she has all these binders where she's giving. Maybe she just like helps like organize the plans. You know what I mean? I think she. It's her job. Like Dwight's tasked with in the office to like help pick the best plan for the employees. Yeah, that's it. I think that's what it is because she's explaining to them. She has all these binders behind her. But then she's explaining every situation and like, okay, so which one do you want? It sounds like they haven't even enrolled in insurance. They don't even know that that's an option to them. So that's why Anne's explaining it. But then she's like, or do you just want me to do it? And she's like, yes, that's great. April says. But they pick out their plans and like all these physicians, they're just like stunned and don't know what to do or how this works. So Anne does it for them. But I thought that was interesting to see that that's like part of Anne's job.
Yeah. It also does another thing where it shows you the age for April and Andy.
Yeah, that's fair too.
I still feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, insurance is so freaking confusing. Like even if you are a fully fledged adult. So I mean,
it's so true.
Like logically, it's tough. Yeah. And like deciding between HSA and copay and HMO or whatever the fuck, like it's a lot.
Yeah, what's worth it?
And also, so some insurances are like you still have to pay for them, and it's expensive. So, like, are you getting a deal? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing too.
Well, I have insurance, but I don't remember. I don't know if I told you, but I cut my hand open in like March, when I was cutting an avocado, and like the knife went through. Like you could see the fat in my hand coming out. It was so bad.
That's awful. So I did not know that.
Yeah, so it was a time. So we went and I had to get it stitched up, and but I went to my primary care doctor because it was gonna the ER was like, we're gonna charge you quite a bit if you come back to get it taken out here, and you'll have to wait, right? So I just did it at my primary care, and I had insurance with my other job when I got that, and they still charged me over $200 to take stitches out, to cut something out of my hand that I could have done with scissors at home.
Yeah. But you might have like hurt yourself even more.
This is true, but I would still have $200.
I mean, I will say also my insurance covers my birth control, and I looked at the plan. I get a shot. It's called the Depot shot, which, like, if you guys have questions about that, please let me know because I stand by it. But I get a shot, and I looked at my statement, and that thing is $600. I don't have to pay for it because it's under my insurance, but
That's
$600
awesome.
for birth control? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Stupid. Yeah.
So, I mean, insurance does help.
Yes.
But there are moments when you're just like, what is this for? Like,
Right.
why am I doing this again? Especially the specialist thing. That's the thing that freaks me out. Because I'm just like, but I need this, but I still have to pay for a lot of it. So anyway,
Right.
but if you don't have insurance, you can go to healthcare.gov and find a plan that works for you. That's actually not a joke, but I'm just telling you. Okay.
But yeah.
Anyway, okay, so now we're looking at Bobby's campaign, and it's so dumb, and like saying nothing except or his campaign ad, I guess,
right.
And like nothing except for his family owns half of Pawnee or whatever, and that's why.
Isn't my family what this town really is about?
Yeah. Oh my God.
You jackass.
Ugh, so crazy. That's the thing that I love, that what they're kind of portraying here, that a lot of campaign ads, especially when you're stupid, aren't even saying anything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But Donna thinks
I just get annoyed with them.
Me too. Oh my God. And Donna has more lines. Yay.
Yes, I love
Donna's
it.
like, I am not complaining. When April's like, is this guy running for like being everywhere all the time? I also thought it was interesting. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I thought it was interesting. Now we've set up campaign headquarters at Ben's house because Anne was the campaign headquarter place where we met Pistol Pete, but then she's not the campaign manager anymore, so we moved everything over.
We've moved.
So that's nice.
I thought it made more sense anyway, too, because Andy and April live there, too, and they're also helping with the campaign, but I guess it didn't make sense. They didn't want it to be around Ben if Ben wasn't going to be able to help.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's fair. Leslie has a talking head that says everything is so perfect, like everything that she dreamed about, except she wasn't behind like 70 points or whatever the hell.
Fair.
And then she dreamed of her campaign manager being Mr. Belvedere, and I was not familiar, so I looked up who that was. Did you?
No, I don't, and I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, so it's a 1985 sitcom, and Mr. Belvedere is the housekeeper to this family, and he's British, and he used to serve Winston Churchill, and since the parents are, for some reason or another, I don't think these parents are like famous, maybe they are, but for some reason or another, this housekeeper goes from Winston Churchill and all these famous people to this family, and the parents are gone all the time, so he's basically raising these kids and like giving advice to the kids and like being the father figure almost, if you will. And so I had never watched it, but that's who Mr. Belvedere is, and that's who she imagined would be a campaign manager, which makes sense if she watched it because it sounds like he gives a sage advice to kids and whatever. So, anyhow.
I'm looking up a picture.
Yeah.
I want to see him.
It's really interesting. He's like this. Is he balding? He's like a bigger, balder man with a suit.
Did she also say she was in love with her campaign manager in this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, her taste.
I know. He kind of looks like, no, I was going to say he could be in the same vein as like Louis C.K.'s character.
Oh, man.
Anyhow.
Doesn't look anything like Adam Scott, though.
No. But I think that she has a wide range of taste in men. Like Justin looks different than like Ben, and
it's just interesting, like the famous people she's into, like Joe Biden and
That's
Mr.
true.
Belvedere. It's like they're like, these older men.
Yeah, it's their heart. That's what it really is, Maddie.
You know what? You're right.
I think that's
the true
plays
Leslie.
a huge difference in what she's attracted to.
That's very true.
All right. So now Leslie's like setting Ben up, saying like, oh my God, he has the best campaign idea ever. And she doesn't even know what it is. But Ben says he wants to run an attack campaign ad rather, on one of the biggest TV nights in TV, for Pawnee anyway, which is the Pawnee Eagleton Tip-Off, which is wonderful.
I love
because
this.
we are learning about that later on. It'll be a callback. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. A more just thorough writing.
Follow-throughs
Love
and
it.
small town vibes. I do think it's funny that she mentions writing, like, okay, we'll write an inspirational op-ed, just like Diane writing the letter writing campaign. And
Yeah.
I was like tame. But okay. I do think it's funny on the newspaper that Ben's holding up. It says Snowplow Labor Union wants to revise their contract. And I thought that was very timely for all these labor union strikes that we're having right now.
It's very timely.
That newspaper looked great. I'm sure Gay Perello, the one who made the books from last episode, did that. So I hope to talk to her soon. Yes,
yeah, that'd be great.
There is a deleted scene that I have to play. It says that they have $4,000 in their campaign bucket. So that's exciting. I mean,
that is
I don't know
exciting.
if that's... I don't know. I feel like it's a lot for a small, like, grassroots campaign for city council. Obviously, it's not a lot for, like, a bigger, maybe, thing. Campaign or whatever. But okay, before I play it though, they're all coming up with campaign ad ideas, like everybody is, and everybody throws their like hat in the ring, if you will. And Donna is going to suggest people making out, and you don't see it because it's just audio, but she's talking about Leslie and Ann making out. So just a heads up when you hear that. But let me go ahead and play it.
Okay, but that'll never happen unless we increase our visibility. Tom, how much money do we have total?
4 bags of ziti.
What?
$4,000. Some new lingo I'm trying out. The ad should be like the end of a John Woo movie. I'm wearing a wife beater, white shirt, it's open. I'm walking down the beach, and that music's playing like the boom, like chanting. There's an explosion, there's doves, they're flying. I jump out. I do a somersault. I get up. I'm in slow motion. I got 2 guns. Boom, 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 boom. I'm taking out bad guys. There's a girl. She kind of looks like Blake Lively. She's walking towards me. We start making out. We're rolling around in the sand. We're getting in the water. We're wet. It's getting really intense. Vote Nope 2012.
Why are you in Leslie's campaign ad?
Because Leslie was in trouble. And she had nowhere else to turn.
If you're being serious, you two should make out for about 30 seconds and then put Vote Nope real small at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, shit! That's a dope ad.
People will twerk.
Oh, come on, Donna.
I'm telling you, it works at the club.
You have a very, very rich life.
Okay, I got it. A musical ad. With a really catchy tune. Leslie Nope. For city council and you. For city council and you.
No.
That's it.
No.
Like literally the camera pans around to everybody and the silence is deafening.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And of course, Tom, this is like another Entertainment 720 situation where he's like, I will be the center of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole like Blake Lively situation is hilarious. Okay, so Leslie says that it's a good idea, but like for Ben's like campaign ad attack or whatever, but she actually kind of hates it, and that sucks.
It does suck, but I kind of get it.
Yeah, you mean like why she hates it?
Yeah, I get both sides.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Chris comes into Ron's office now, and it's weird to me that there's like a gun just in full display in the office. It seems very strange, even though it's old and I'm sure it doesn't work. But actually, it's Ron, so it could work.
Same thing with the landmine. It's still
that too. Oh my god,
what a problem place that office is.
Yeah. Did you notice that Chris bumps it? The gun?
No.
Yeah, you'll have to go back. It's a continuity error because, I mean, it's like, it actually isn't that, like, I wouldn't have noticed it, unless I watched it a couple times, but, so it makes sense that you wouldn't notice it, but, like, he moves his hand, Rob Lowe moves his hand, and then, he moves the gun, it, like, spins around, kind of, and then the next scene, it's right in the space where it was before, so, yeah, so it did move. But anyway, Chris has a meeting at Public Works that he invites Ron to go to. And at first, Ron doesn't want to go because obviously he doesn't want to be involved with government. But then Chris says he has to brutally cut and slash the budget, which Ron loves to do. So he does agree to go.
Yes, I love it. I also love when Chris comes in, he says, "How are you?" And Ron says, "Present."
Present.
Because there are some times where that is legit. Like, I'm here. Like,
that's how you are doing. Yeah.
That's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Oh, so relatable. Now we've got Dr. Harris back. So exciting.
I love him so much.
I know.
He has my favorite. I think this is my favorite Dr. Harris line in here. When we get to it, I'll tell you. But I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, well, reminder, we did a full interview with him. This actor's name is Cooper Thornton, and he is so wonderful, great to talk to. So I'll post a link so that you can hear his full interview. I reached out to him, but I didn't hear anything back, so maybe he's busy or whatever. But we still love him, and I'm glad we got to talk with him. But Andy is trying to make up this story about how he was reading an encyclopedia and tries to make up, and then April tells this make up something, and then April tells the truth, and Dr. Harris is like, yeah, that seems right.
Yeah.
And then he keeps saying all these things that are wrong with him, and I'm just like, how are you a functioning human, Andy?
Yeah,
oh my
seriously.
God.
This is, yeah. I'm also very concerned for Andy.
Yeah.
He also looks the wrong way when he says look left, look right.
Yeah, that's why Dr. Harris is like, good enough.
Whatever.
I love that he gives the sass right back to April. Is that your line that you like?
The when she's like, thanks for nothing, Dr. Harris. When he says, you're welcome, one of my favorite lines. The delivery is just absolute perfection for me. And it just shows you he's not bothered by how she takes his advice. I just love it. There's actually a lot of, I don't know if they're deleted scenes or bloopers for this too.
Oh.
Have you seen those?
What are they saying?
Oh my gosh.
Are they a lot more? Are they laughing, or are they just a lot more things that ailments?
I think it's just a lot more things.
Because I think I did notice that as well. There's another deleted scene in here too, but which I'll talk about in a little bit later. But yeah, while you're looking that up, when we talked to Cooper Thornton, who plays Dr. Harris, I think one of the fun things that we talked about was that he is a doctor who just cares about the nuts and bolts of it. If he could just take care of people, that was kind of his character analysis almost. If he could just take care of people without them having to talk or be a human, with emotions, then he'd be so much more happy and into it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. This might be just from the episode, which isn't going to help me. There's one that my brother has seen that he's obsessed with too, and it's in the deleted scene. Oh man. Okay. If I find it, I'll play it, but okay. We don't have to wait for me.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send it to you too. I should have pulled it up last night.
No, it's all good.
But
yeah, you can send it to me.
because I love it.
There is a deleted scene in addition to that one where they're in the waiting room for the doctor's office and it's taking forever, and Andy is trying to talk this kid into letting him go before the kid, and he was like, I'll give you this rubber band ball if you let me go first, and the kid's like, no, I have an iPad. It was so funny. And then Andy is so flabbergasted. He's like, what's wrong with you? And Andy goes gets to go first actually, because April lies and says that they're actually someone that they're not. When the receptionist comes in and is calls a name, April's like, oh yeah, it's us, and it's totally not. But I think it's really funny because then Andy gets to go first, and he shouts he gets in the kid's face and he's like, yeah, punk, and the kid is totally laughing, totally. I mean, he does a good job of trying to hide it, but the kid is totally laughing, and I think it's really great. That kid's name is Luke Columbaro, by the way. Reminder, this is a deleted scene, so you probably wouldn't see him or have seen him, but I'm just telling you about him anyway.
He deserves a shout out too.
Yep. He is in NCIS, The Divide, a bunch of shows that I haven't really watched, but he was super funny. And also it looks like he's a composer for some shorts and feature films. So that's the thing cool. that he's doing most currently. So good for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then in that deleted scene her scenes got cut, unfortunately, but the receptionist that calls calls everybody's names, her name is Janelle Winkler, and she's been in American Horror Story, The Practice, You're the Worst, and she also, I thought you'd enjoy this, she played, I'm so sorry that they cut it because she's still in the universe, I don't care, I know it's not canon, but she's still in the universe. She played Patty Grossman in The Office, which is, if you guys aren't familiar, the episode with the pyramid, and Dwight calls her like Fatty something or whatever. And she's like, it's Patty Grossman. And she has this like really crazy wig on, or it looks like a wig. I don't think that's her hair. But I was like, oh my God, look at that Sherverse guest starring.
Love it.
So that's pretty amazing. Let's see. Okay, so now I've got another Bobby campaign running where this is where his vest comes back that the Nick Newport Jr. fella, whatever, was wearing, in a cowboy hat. There's clearly a connection with this red vest.
Oh, yeah. It's the vibe.
Yeah, totally.
It's the vibe. We've got money, but we're trying to be down to earth people vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, and like cozy LL Bean moment, you know?
Yeah.
He says, I did a little bit of a deep dive on this. He says the Persian Greyhound was given, the dog that he has in the ad, was given to him by the pretender to the crown of Alsace Lorraine. Alsace Lorraine is a historical region and former territory of the German Empire, which is now located in modern day France. No idea. And then also a pretender is someone who claims to be the rightful ruler of a country, although not recognized as such by the current government. And the term is often used to suggest that the claim is not legitimate. And I think that is such a brilliant, random little like side note, I guess, for him to be involved in like these rich, famous people's lives, but they're not really famous. Like, it's not like he's saying, you know, it's Beyonce or, you know, Elton John or, you know, those are the first names that came to my head. But it's like a fake famous person of a territory that isn't even real anymore. Right. So I thought that was really brilliant. And if Alan Yang wrote that, well done, sir. Whoever wrote that.
Love it.
He's identifying this dog as Raclette, which is a Persian Greyhound. But online it says that the dog is actually an Afghan hound, if anyone cares. Just letting you guys know.
Nice catch. I didn't even think to look that up.
It was randomly on, I think, one of the sites that I was looking at. So actually, let me just Google Afghan hound to make sure. Yeah, that's totally an Afghan hound. Oh my God. It's so cute. They have like hair, like flowing hair. Hang on, I have to share my screen with you really fast because it's so cute.
Oh my gosh,
they're
you could curl their hair,
like legitimate hair of a human.
Yeah. Wow,
so glamorous. Yeah. Anyhow,
Raclette is such a like posh name for a dog too.
That name, I was like, what even is that? That is so funny. I just Googled Raclette, and it's a Swiss dish, also popular in the Alpine countries, based on heating cheese and scraping off the melting part. Oh, that's like...
I've had that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good, Holly.
Wow. I've seen so many videos of that. Ooh,
yeah. We had it in the Czech Republic. In Prague, they have just a giant wheel of cheese that they're heating.
Yep.
And then they had a cup of potatoes that they had cooked, and then they just drizzle the cheese on the. Oh my gosh,
that sounds amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny that's what the dog is named after.
I love it. Now I'm in support of the name. I don't care if it sounds posh. I'm here for it.
It is posh though. Oh my God. Well, now Leslie is like, look, people might have a problem with this attack ad. Donna hates it and Anne's over it. I love the smelly good markers. I miss those. Oh my God, this marker smells like cherry.
They're so great. I love this because it's almost an Andy moment for Anne.
Like, totally.
This smells like cherries. And you're sitting there and you're like, she was the campaign manager a week ago. I think she's just enjoying that she can sit there and smell markers instead of this being her problem.
Yeah, totally. And then Ben is like, do you have a problem? And Leslie hates negative ads, would never do one in a million years. She just didn't picture it this way. And now they have to kind of come to terms with how they can compromise. And so that we'll get to that later. Ugh.
I think I really, really am proud of Leslie here because she has this vision of what she wanted for her campaign and she's standing up for it. I think also, you know, she needs to have the ability to be flexible, but if she doesn't feel comfortable running a negative ad, like I stand by that. And I think they do need to compromise. And we're about to see, right? They're going to split off and try to come up with two separate ideas and then vote rather than sitting down together and seeing how they can meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And so I think this is like a learning thing for them as campaign manager and candidate, as well as boyfriend, girlfriend, is like, hey, we do much better when we put our heads together.
Right, exactly. Yeah, learning how they do the compromise is really beautiful too. Okay, so now Chris and Ron are meeting with people. Ron has taken the role of Ben. And honestly, I actually never really thought about Chris's position without Ben, like until now. Like I did. Obviously, I knew that, Chris was crying when they said, or when he resigned in disgrace, if you will.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think about how Chris was probably going to need another person to like break the bad news, because Chris is a nice guy and Ben was the hard ass. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And he couldn't have picked somebody better to balance that out. Like if somebody actually finds joy in cutting budgets, it's Ron.
I will say at least Ben, like, I don't know, in some degree feels somewhat guilty about it, or not guilty, but just like has a little bit more of a professional attitude. Whereas Ron is like kind of a dick.
Yeah. Ben's definitely more emotionally in tune.
Yeah.
With the fact that he's taking something from people.
Yeah.
And you just don't get that from Ron. He was like,
right.
I don't feel sorry. Like, I'm not sorry.
Totally.
I'm going to leave now.
And I mean, it's not to say that Ben was like not a hard ass. He was and is.
He was.
But I think he doesn't show that he feels bad, but like you can tell that there are moments when he's like, well, I wish I didn't have to say this, but I do. Did you notice how shiny this table always is? Like you can see the reflection. It's like a basketball court. I just noticed that so like profoundly this time.
I wonder if it's the lights too.
I'm sure it is, but they must be, because I didn't see any fingerprints on there. I was like, who is waxing this table? I just noticed it so much. Anyhow.
Well, you'd think that they use it enough in filming that it would have some sort of mark on it.
Yeah. They must like clean it before the shot every time or something. I don't know. Anyway, I just noticed that, so I wanted to point it out. But the guy who works at Public Works that's getting all of his dreams crushed is Paul Hayes. And he's been in a bunch of stuff too. Third Rock from the Sun, Weeds, The Mentalist. I haven't seen any recent credits. Like the last thing was 2014, so I'm not sure what he's up to now. He could be still acting though. So, but yeah, good job to him. Where will all the water go?
Correct. That's a great question.
Oh God.
Wherever it's headed now.
Yeah, wherever it's headed now. Like, but the point is that all your dreams are crushed. Goodbye. And then he like whistles when he goes out.
Yeah.
And I was like, Ron, shut up.
I also hate that. The point is that your dreams are crushed. Okay, bro.
I know.
Like,
which I know is the point, but I'm just like, ugh. Sad.
Yeah, but it's just like the last nail in the coffin.
Totally. Well. Now we're at where Ben is kind of fighting and saying it's not a negative ad. We're just saying all the things that he said. Facts. He's just dumb. So it comes off as negative because he's negative. But I think it is a negative ad. I don't know, the way that they do it. Like if you compare it to if you compare it to like the compromise at the end.
Yeah, what they come up with. Yeah.
And they have both, they have points. They both have their points. They're really just stating facts. Like we talked about, it does, like I just said, like it sounds bad because he's stupid. You know what I mean? So like, I do get that. But Leslie talks about how she wants to show the good things that she's going to do rather than the shitty things that this guy's going to do. And so like, I do get that. And she asked Tom to weigh in as the communication person. And I'm just like, why would you ask him? He don't know. He bets on all the horses, so he like that's not a good bet.
You're not.
You're losing all the money then if you bet on all the horses. Oh my God.
He's just the stupidest little man.
That's like the Entertainment 720 like shit. Come on, Tom. You know better.
He frustrates me so much here too because it's not even helpful. It's he's looking at how can I win? I can be on both sides, not doing his actual job of like what's actually going to come across to the people.
Yeah.
And which we've seen him. He does have good ideas. He is smart. He can put himself in the position of understanding businesses and all that kind of stuff. So where's that guy? Because right now we're just getting sleazy, gross Tom.
Yeah. Sleazy Tom.
But not sexual sleazy Tom. It's like,
Right. Just kind of greasy Tom.
Yeah. Greasy Tom. I like that.
Yeah, totally. But they come up with the idea to each make a demo video, and whoever wins the vote of the campaign people, like whoever's on the team, is going to vote on it, and whoever wins will get to be, we'll get to air that ad. Also, I think it's really funny. The way she talks about Jerry really reminded me, because you know how she says, well, you wanted to go negative. You got the biggest negative there is. It really reminded me of Michael Scott talking about Toby.
Yes, absolutely.
Like just the way that she delivers it. I just feel like that's very Michael Scott.
Oh, yes. The biggest negative there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the
very well done.
In the world, buddy.
Did you notice in the kitchen, there's a cookbook out? And I was like, there's no way April is cooking, or April or Andy have a cookbook out. And then I went back and I paused it. It looks like it's the Calzone cookbook.
Oh my God.
And it's just still out.
He cleaned it up but he still has a dream.
He can't put the Calzone away.
I did notice there was some stuff back there, but I didn't pause it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now we're shooting Leslie's campaign ad with all these kids and being super positive. I also love this line. Barack Obama says, yes, we can, and he's the president. Ben says, no, we shouldn't, and now he's working for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I love that, too. So good.
They are shooting. This is a great callback. They're shooting in front of Salvatore's barber shop, which is funny because she goes to Salvatore's to get her hair done for the gala that they think that Anne and Leslie are lesbians.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And if anyone would be interested in going to see that, if you are in Los Angeles, it is at 12450 Magnolia Boulevard in Valley Village. So you guys can take a look. I don't know if they've changed the storefront or still has a barbershop thing out there, but that's where it is. So it's, it's a great little area. Now they're handing out hot dogs for this ad, and Leslie thinks it's great. We're getting some really good stuff, and Bobby's face comes up on a bus right behind her. That was brilliant writing. I was like, that sucks.
Yeah. It just shows again how much more money he has.
Yeah, totally. He's on everything, man.
Yeah. Because we see him on a bench later, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Andy's getting his eyes checked now. Did you have anything before that, though?
Mm-mm.
And
I love this.
Oh my gosh. Andy can't see anything. April's like, what? You drove us here, which is scary because, he can't see anything. The rest are all smudges, middle finger. He says, what
is mug shape? What's it called? Potato shape makes sense to me. It's that's probably a 0 or an O.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe he thinks that there was a handle on it or something. I don't know. Oh my God. I think it's funny that he thinks that a middle finger would be on a doctor's office chart.
Yeah.
So funny. The doc is like, look, you definitely need glasses. But April's like, no, I like his face without glasses. I'll divorce you. Have glasses. And I love the guy's face, the doctor's face when he's like, Andy's like, too handsome for glasses. No offense. And he's like, what? This eye doctor is Sean Blodgett, and that character name, by the way, again, I love this so much when they have IMDb characters and they don't say it in the actual show. The character name is Mitch Forch. Fortc.
Mitch Forch.
Mitch Forch.
Okay.
He's been in Mad Men, iCarly, Parenthood, but he's also a producer, cinematographer, and an editor, so that's really fun. He did a great job.
Cool.
And I wasn't as familiar with the things that he was a cinematographer for, but I know all the other ones. So that's cool.
Very cool.
Now we're at Tom and Jerry and Ben writing the negative ad, the best scene in the entire episode, I think.
It's so good.
It's iconic. It's so memorable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We quote this a lot.
Totally.
And you can tell, I don't know, it's easier to tell here than the rest of the episode, but I believe Adam Scott is sick.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And you can hear
I can see that.
Yeah, in places, but when he's doing this, it's much easier to hear.
Yeah, I could definitely tell when he was talking to Leslie about, do you have a problem with it? After she's saying, Donna and Anne have a problem with it. Yeah, it's always funny to see when they're sick.
Yeah.
Because you can definitely hear it, or they compress their voices so much or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But also, did you notice I paused this screen where they have pictures of Bobby Newport? And I think it's meant to be Google, but it's totally formatted just like a Word document. So I didn't know if the people didn't care enough to make this a Google like screen because it wasn't on the screen for that long. But it says image search results like on the left side, and then it says Sweetums, Bobby Newport, and then there's just like squares of pictures.
Interesting, but it's in a Word doc.
It looks like a Word doc to me. It doesn't really look like a Google search engine, but yet it says like search engine at the top. And I was like, what is it? I mean, I guess it could technically be, I don't think it's meant to be, but if you wanted to give them a pass, it could be like their draft or something of like them putting all the pictures on his, on their Word document or something to make notes or whatever. But it's totally meant to be a search engine, and it's just not.
Oh my gosh. That's fascinating.
I know, you guys, but I get it. It's like that, and Ben's resume are. I don't think you were there for that one.
No.
Ben's resume had like Aaron and I talked about it on the episode when he's like going for the accountant job, and it's not formatted in the way that I think Ben would make it formatted. Like it's these big chunks, and it'll say like experience underline, and then the chunks of dialogue, and then his email was like a weird email that was like totally not his, and it wasn't formatted in like a bullet pointed, like the content is good, but the way that it was formatted is so not how Ben would do it. Again, that's such a minor thing because it's not on screen for very long, but he also said like there's a phrase of like he was working for something for 2.5 years, and I was like, you wouldn't say that.
That's interesting. I wonder if they just took a template offline.
Maybe. I mean, they could have made, they could have. I think that they definitely added in all of like Ben's stuff, but the email was the funniest thing for me because it was like Ben Wyatt at benwyatt.us.gov or something like that, and I was like, gosh. He doesn't have his own domain in the U.S. government.
Yeah, no. That's so funny.
Anyhow, so I think that they're not thinking about those tiny little details anymore, which is fine. I get it. You know?
Yeah.
But they have a lot of other details. Like, so look, I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying what I'm observing. Okay.
Yeah.
Ben turns on the attitude and Tom's like, no, give it more. Like with this voiceover situation, you have to scare people. And how fun to do that. Like if you were acting on that set in that moment, like how fun to do that. Oh my God. They all take turns. It goes on too long.
But I do think it's really good advice. Because I do think when Ben changes his voice the second time, it's like, okay, that hits more as the typical political ad you hear.
Definitely more scary, like that vibe of like, oh God, this is like, we're going to be in some post-apocalyptic world if we like elect this guy.
If we choose
You know
him.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Bobby Newport. And now we're just wasting time, Jerry.
Poor Jerry, man.
Poor Jerry. It's so hilarious because they're all doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, so now Chris is saying thank you to Ron for being cruel, like at those meetings. You have to be more specific.
I also hate this.
I know.
Because he says, why don't we go talk about what projects you want to get done? Okay, Chris, hold on. So we have to cut projects for other people who are actually passionate about getting projects done that are good for the government and good for the city. But now you're going to go and take some of that money to help Ron do projects?
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Or like starting me feel sleazy.
Yeah, that's true. Or like even thinking about starting other projects when you just have to cut those other ones. Yeah, that's interesting. Did you notice that behind them there's someone being burnt at the stake on the mural? And it's literally, I think we've seen it before, but I don't know why it just like stood out to me of this one. There's someone being burned at the stake, but it's like modern times. It looks like it's in like the 1980s.
Oh,
it's
no.
like there's traffic lights.
No. Oh, I did not even notice that, but that is a great catch. And holy crap, why?
It's so funny. Oh my God. I love it.
Where's the background story on that one?
Oh my God. I just think that Pawnee's really behind the times.
Yeah.
Oh,
true.
God. And then it transitions. This is totally Dean Holland's like love to do of the edits and stuff.
This is beautiful.
Of Chris laughing and then somehow they end up having lunch together while Chris is still laughing. Definitely showing like Chris's weird charm, like spell that he puts on people, which is really hilarious. And And there's a deleted scene here too where Ron like shoves a whole cheeseburger in his mouth to like stop from Chris talking, basically. And there's a little Bobby Newport mug at the restaurant. And I was like, oh my God, this guy, literally everywhere. Yeah. And then they cut away from him, and then you cut back to Ron, and he's like fully swallowed the hamburger, which obviously is like editing. But I was like, that's actually really funny to see.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, side note, I was going to tell you. So I've been watching Will and Grace a lot because it's on Hulu, and I've never seen it all the way through. I've only seen little episodes here and there, and I've always liked it. And I knew Nick Offerman came on in the later seasons, but I just watched season 4. I think it's like episode 12 or something, where it's like a Thanksgiving episode, and Karen, aka Megan Mullally's character, is told by her husband, who is in prison, that he wants her to sleep with other people because he doesn't want her to wait for him, kind of thing. And she goes to like somebody else's house for Thanksgiving, and she's like, I just want someone with like who's really burly and wears a tool belt and all these things. And what's her name, Grace, is like, those kinds of characters only exist in pornos. And then Nick Offerman shows up as a plumber to fix whoever's house that they're at, like the sink or something. And then they kiss, and then he looks so cute and young, and he still has his little tattoo. And I was like, oh my God, because when she was describing the person, I was like, that's your husband.
Right. Yeah, that's
and
exactly.
And then he comes on as a guest star, and I was like, that's so precious and cute.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so cool.
And then he comes back in the later seasons, I think, as someone totally different, like not the
different
plumber.
Character.
Yeah, totally different character.
Interesting.
But anyhow, I just thought that was fun and worth
mentioning.
I love
that
for little Ronald. Okay. Well, now we are showing the ads. Well, first of all, it's another Newport ad first, where he says, my dad is friends with John Cougar Mellencamp. That's pretty cool.
Which there's a scene in The Office where they bring John Cougar Mellencamp up too.
Oh,
when when they do the betting, and they're like, there's a 10,000 to 1 odds that John Cougar Mellencamp wins an Oscar with Kevin.
Interesting. Wait, what are they betting on?
I don't know. They just start betting when they're doing the safety training with the baler.
Oh, interesting. Okay, random. Yeah. I don't even remember that part. That's funny.
Yeah. So I was like, somebody in this universe likes John Cougar Mellencamp, I think.
Yeah. Huh. John Cougar. Okay. I love this. This is a GIF that many people use, including myself, use when Anne says you have X amount of time to take the ad to the station. And Leslie points and's like, Anne, you're beautiful and you're organized.
Yes.
I use that all the time. Love it. It's a great GIF. And then this is where Leslie plays her ad first. And oh my God, it is freaking hilarious. All the things that she is pro lasts like 900 minutes. No one can even read all of those. Yeah. It says online that it's over 110 items.
This is an awful ad.
It's an awful ad. It is. I did pause it on some of these, and obviously there's no way I could write all of them, but I did write quite a bit, and I thought some of them were really funny, so I'll read them off to you. Yes, first, obviously, is Pro Parks and Safe Streets, which we have, which that's like on all of her campaign stuff, like in the background when she, it's like the little whiteboard thing, or the big notepads, like those are Pro Parks, those are her main position platforms. Sidewalks, cleaner streets, improved snow plows, which is really funny because that was on the newspaper that I talked about, was the snowplow workers, like the labor unions wanted, and I don't know if that was like meant to be or what it was, or like if those are meant to be conjoined, if you will. But I thought that was funny. More teachers and fewer libraries, which is an oxymoron. I don't know why she doesn't like libraries. I just don't understand it. I'll never understand it.
I don't know either.
Especially since she likes education and like Model UN and all these things. Does she just think
she
that
reads?
Librarian? I think she doesn't like librarians, not the library.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You know?
That's definitely what it is.
Anyway, she wants more playgrounds. She wants Pawnee corn subsidies. She wants a memorial. Okay, this is really funny. She wants a memorial for those lost in the trampoline incident. Whatever that is. And then the next one is regulate heights of the trampolines. So something must have happened. Yep. She wants to foster partnerships with sister cities, which is a cool callback to the Sister City episode, with Fred
Very
Armisen. Grants for scientists to discover new forms of energy. Bulletproof glass everywhere was one of them. Free cookies.
Is there a lot of crime in Pawnee?
I don't know. I guess that's just like to make things safe. I don't know. Free cookies at every street corner. Love that. Free parking.
I'm on board with that.
Love that. Would love a free
absolutely.
parking everywhere. And then we do the jump shot of them like jumping up and down. I just love that so much. I also like the music that's playing in the background. Very campaigny, news reporter vibes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Very fitting. When they do the jump shot and it pauses, you can see Hollywood, California written on the building in the background.
No way. I didn't even notice. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to go back and watch it. Wait, now I have it pulled up because I was going to, oh no, wait, no, I don't. I did have it pulled up and then I exited out of it. Okay, I'll go back. This guy, or this kid rather, Charlie, is played by Tylen Jacob Williams, and he's been on a Nickelodeon show called Instant Mom, which I'm not as familiar with. Everybody Hates Chris and Without a Trace, bunch of stuff. His last thing was in 2017, so not sure what he's up to now, but he has a great smile, great energy. He was super fun. I loved him in this. Right, Charlie? And at the bottom it says "Yay Pawnee," and I just think that's so funny and it's wonderful. But like you said, it's not a good ad. Ben has a great point. You never mentioned you were even running for office.
Yeah, we know your name. That's basically what we know.
Yeah, and all the things that you're pro for, but like no one could really even like read those. So
well, who's pausing it?
Yeah, no one's watch it. Yeah, and you can't pause it if it's on TV. Like back in those days, I don't think TiVo was a thing. So, you know.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, okay, so Ben does his, and I had a note that I didn't understand. That's why I paused. But I do like the writing on Ben's campaign ad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really does do what he wants it to do. I also like Anne's reactions. Yeah, she has. I won't vote for him.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I think it's a much better ad. I understand the negativity and that Leslie is not on board with it. The thing I would say is like, I think they could have even used this ad and just made it less scary in the beginning and more just like factual. Yeah. Like, you know, matter of fact rather than that. And that could have helped fix it. But I mean, there's so much, it's got so much more pull to it. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the thing too, like what he was talking about. I mean, all the things that he said are facts. They are factual. They are things that are like true. Everything was handed to him. You know what I mean? And Leslie has earned everything that she's worked for. So like, right. You know, but also I should have pulled some campaign ads to play on, but you guys get it. Like some campaign ads that I hear are freaking hilarious, and how can these be real? I listened to the podcast, Pod Save America, which is a political one, and they sometimes will pull them pull campaign ads for like Trump or anybody really, and some of them are just so stupid and like so like, again, the world's gonna end if you vote for this guy, you know what I mean? And and most of them are like attack ads like against a Leslie type of person, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which like makes it even crazier of like, we're seeing different things. Right. But Leslie hates this ad. She's like, it's mean, depressing, it's awful. I don't want to air it. Yeah. And then Ben's just trying to be like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is better.
Yeah. I feel like she has pull though, because it is her campaign. It's her face and her name on the line if something goes out that sits wrong with her, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
well, now we're back at the doctor's appointments, and Andy is seeing if he's allergic to anything, which is, oh my gosh, the makeup artist for both the broken thumb, this allergy thing. They did such a good job with making it look kind of wild and weird and scary looking.
I love this. It looks like I'm allergic to being stabbed with needles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This actor's name, who played the doctor, is named Rick Fitz, and he's been quite a bit of things. He's been in Star Trek, Modern Family, The Grinder, which has Rob Lowe in it, which was super fun and nice little crossover. Scandal, Young and the Restless, and he plays a professor with Ross in the paleontology department on Friends.
Oh, That's cool.
Yeah. Which rest
I did
in
not
peace,
put that
Matthew
together.
Perry. We love you and we are praying for your family. So sad.
I know. I really wanted to message you when I saw it, but I saw it really late at night, and I was like, if she hasn't seen it or if she's like going to bed, I don't want to upset her. So I just waited.
Yeah. I got
My
a
heart
CNN
broke.
like debate. What we're talking about debates.
Yeah.
I got a CNN like notification or whatever like when it happened, and I was like, oh my god, it's so awful. He was so young, and I don't know. It didn't sound like it was related to drugs, so I don't know for sure what happened.
No, I think what the most recent thing that came out was heart attack.
Yeah, and he was in his hot tub, so it might have been for that reason. They say some people aren't, like, depending on your heart condition, some people aren't supposed to be in hot tubs.
Right. Well, and you know, you bring up the drugs, like he put his body through a lot during that time in his life. And so it's like his body might not have been at the right
He was really
caliber
committed to
handle
helping
that.
people, like, you know, with their addictions and making people know that they're not alone. So
yeah. And I think the thing that gave me peace once I realized that I didn't think, because the first one I saw said drowned, and I was like, oh gosh, like he had an OD or something and he fell in his pool or something like that. And so it gave my heart a lot of peace knowing that it probably wasn't a suicide or a drug like he was using at the time, just because he worked so hard to be clean and to be, you know, a positive influence past that, that I was like, okay, at least that's not how he went out, you know?
Yeah. Also, I like hate this industry so much sometimes because it was like, industry, I don't know. It was just abhorrent. I saw some pictures of the paparazzi taking picture of his parents arriving. And I was like,
can
what?
we like give people space?
Can you shut the fuck up and get out of here? It's so insane. I don't know how paparazzi isn't illegal. Like, it's ridiculous.
I know. Yeah. it's unsafe, I've heard a lot of the times too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. They're like putting themselves in crazy positions too. And like, oh God, it's just awful. But I thought that was really nice that, yes, rest in peace, Matthew Perry. And I thought it was really nice that they like had made some tributes and stuff to him. But I just thought it was also really interesting that this guy, Rick Fitz, was that professor. Cause I remember him being on there when I saw that on IMDb. I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember that. All he said was, I think this was when Ross was trying to have the accent of being British.
Oh gosh,
and the guy was like, this guy, the doctor on Parks, was like, do you have a second to talk about your lecture? And he was like, well, he said something like, one moment, my sister's in town or something like that. So anyhow, he's in a bunch of stuff, and he like so many things. His IMDb page was really long, so good job. Also, there is a deleted scene here with this same actor. You might have seen in the actual airing of this episode where Andy is like knocking things over. Did you see that, like in the background where he's kind of like knocking things over in the doctor's office?
Oh,
well, it was like a little bit of a longer scene here where Andy is like, I can't feel my arm at all. Like, I don't know what's happening. And then he starts hitting the doctor and he's like, can you feel that? Because I can't feel anything. And then he's like knocking things over. Like, I can't feel that either. That's what that was. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. And he just like makes a whole mess of things in the background. And then the doctor, Rick Fitz, the actor, has to like grab Andy as he's like falling over. And oh my God, it's wild. So good job.
Oh my
to him.
gosh. Yeah.
But Andy has gotten so many things done, like x-rays, which, why does he have the stuff on his ankles still? Like, I feel like the cast x-ray thing,
yeah,
you know,
he
like
shouldn't.
you're supposed to cover it when you go in there for like from the radiation or whatever the hell, but like you take them off after, right?
Yeah, I don't know why he has those. He thought they were cool and just walked out with them.
I don't know. Or are they meant to be cast? I don't have no idea. They took away his blood for science, cholesterol.
Girl.
April had her sinuses removed.
Looked at.
I know. I love
the
that
balance
April is
between
like,
them.
Totally. She's like translating for him.
Yes, absolutely. I thought that was so well done, so well acted between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. So. And now he has a brace on his hand, so he got his hand fixed.
He did. And he got his wiener looked at. That guy wasn't even a doctor.
Touched it. That was weird. Oh my God. All right. So now we're taking a vote on the ad, and everybody's voting for the negative one.
Yep.
Traitors.
Even though Leslie painted her garage pink, which she didn't ask for.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. And I mean, everybody just wants Leslie to win, and this one's better. So that's what Anne's kind of saying. But Leslie just doesn't want to do it. She's so uncomfortable with it. And at this point, I don't know. I just feel like Ben is not trying to compromise really with her at all.
He's made his decision.
He sees this as the right call. He's like, compared to and I get it comparatively, it is the better one, but he is not really trying to like, I don't know, make her feel better. He's just saying like, this is the better one. And I get it. Like we said, they just want her to win. But yeah, I don't know. It felt weird.
Yeah. Agreed.
But anyhow, now Leslie's saying, I'm feeling very zen about this. Like, it's totally fine. And like cut to her tackling Ben to get the ad away from him at the TV station.
Yes. Looks like a really nice TV station.
I know. I tried to find that guy that like is watching them, like the TV station guy, and I couldn't find him on IMDb. So I don't know who that guy was, but he did a great job with his facial expression of like, what's going
happening?
On? Yeah. Okay, so, oh yeah, I was going to say, I like that line, I am Leslie Knope and I do not approve this message.
Yes.
And then we learn that neither of the ads can be aired because it was too late and the money is not going to be given back, which sucks. Because I'm sure ads are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, they obviously didn't use their whole budget on it because they are able to run this other one.
Well, see, that's where I was confused because I feel like the other one is not on the TV station. It's online.
Oh.
Because she said that it has 1,000 views.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
And so I was confused about that. I don't think they put it on. I mean, this is just mine. My opinion, they could have taken it back, but I feel like they didn't do it. They put it online and like tried to spread the word like via maybe social media and her website and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I don't know.
So maybe they did waste their whole budget on that.
Yeah. For the longest time, by the way, when Tom comes out to tell this and he says, I'm hungry, Tommy needs a mango, I never knew what he was saying until I put the subtitles on. I thought that, I don't know why, my head was like, I don't understand what you're trying to say. And then when I saw the subtitles, I was like, what a strange snack to put out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very easily accessible. It's very hard to eat a mango.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
I just thought that was interesting.
Hard to get in the Midwest too.
Oh yeah. Fair.
Not as easy to buy as it is. So
that's true. Leslie explains and says, like, look, I'm sorry I tackled you. I just need this ad to not be negative and cynical. And she said she would rather air the 10-year-old campaign ads than do a negative ad, which foreshadowing, we love.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really, I don't know, I thought it was really interesting and cool that because usually when that kind of line is said, that kind of foreshadowing line, usually it cuts right to it. And they're like, oh, actually, I have an idea. And that has happened with Leslie. Like somebody says something random and she's like, that gives me a great idea. But they didn't do that with this. They wanted to get in Ben's line of like I get it. I get where you're coming from, but I bet in your dream you weren't losing. And I don't know, the whole thing, like, I get where Ben's coming from to a certain degree, but I don't like this of like, you have to get tougher. You just have to. I know what he's saying, but I don't think that, I just feel like he's meaning to say, like, you have to get a thick skin. You have to make sure that you are like really fighting for this kind of thing. But I don't know if it was a delivery. It's just something rubbed me the wrong way about him saying like, you just have to get tougher. The end. Bye.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree with you. And I'm the same way, like where there is a point to what he's saying, right? Like there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out about her. There's going to be, as we see throughout the rest of this show, right? Somebody's always trying to take her down or, bring her down emotionally. And he's right. She does have to take it a little less personally and fix that. But again, I like her whole, I don't want to go negative. Like I'm going to stick to my morals. So I don't want her to like lose that either. So, and it is very like matter of fact, the way he's saying it, like, we're not going to win if you don't toughen up.
Yeah. And I do get it because of her personality and all these things. Like if she remains this way, like not wanting to be negative at all, or not wanting to be matter of fact at all, then like, okay, I do get what he's saying about that. But I think that's what it is. It's like he is saying you have to go to the extreme, or at least this is how I took it. But that's probably me just projecting. But I took it as like, you can't compromise. You just have to be on the negative side all the time.
Right.
Which is, but also Leslie is extreme too. So she's always on like the always positive side. So they have to meet in the middle somewhere. And I think that's what he's meaning, but maybe not. Maybe he really does mean just get tough. But in my head, I was like, I think that you guys can find a compromise, which they do eventually. And that's a really great illustration of what we were talking about last week, where like he's only poisoned to the campaign because he's not part of the campaign. But now that he's part of the campaign, they can kind of find that middle ground.
Right.
So anyhow, okay, Chris is trying to talk to Ron, and Ron can't get the doors closed fast enough. I thought that was really hilarious.
Yeah.
And Chris is going to the Art of the Japanese tea ceremony at the community college, which I think that's an interesting event that they're having. And he invites Ron. And also, I love seeing this when the camera catches it, the Mark painting that's in the background.
Yeah.
I noticed it.
So nice. And
Donna comes in and explains like, well, Chris might be acting this way because he wants like a new Ben, like a friend kind of thing. And I don't know. I didn't see it as him wanting a friend. I took it as him wanting a new Ben, but like I can see totally, especially inviting him to the Japanese tea ceremony. That's not a Ben thing. I mean, Ben might go with him, but that's not really a professional thing. So I could see that it would be friends. So like maybe he just wants a little buddy is what Donna says.
He understands Ron because he was like, why do you think I would want to do that? It's because you enjoy silence. Like he, you know.
That's true. So that's more friendly. I thought it was really funny though, like just from a like maybe continuity / understanding point, is that Donna comes in as if she's going to say something / do something for Ron, and all she does is knock on the door, say maybe he just wants a little buddy, and then exits. Like she's not actually coming in for anything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just like when she leaves, I was expecting her. Because when she comes, she's knocking on his door.
Right.
So I was assuming that she was coming in for something, and then they have this conversation, then she just leaves. And I'm like, did you come in here for something? Because it didn't sound like she really, or it didn't seem like she really knew that Chris was in there. So she wasn't trying to say hi to him either, I don't think.
Right.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Anyway, so now we're finding out that insurance, like we talked about, does not cover everything. And I think it's also really funny that they just run out, dine and dash. They think it's not going to follow them around.
Right. 500 deductible is not bad either. That is so low.
Yeah, for like dental procedures and like big procedures like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless, I don't know what they got done, because I feel like for root canals, I've paid less than that before. But it also depends on which doctor you go to, which is a whole other scam. Like, that's the other thing, too. Prescriptions are such a fucking joke. Like, I can't believe it. Like, if anyone's curious, I do GoodRx, which is so amazing and just proves how shitty the prescription world is, as far as, like, it's, you know, $200 at the doctor's office, but then GoodRx shows you how cheap it can be, like at all the different places, like CVS, Kroger, whatever. And I'm just like, this is the same thing though, right? And for some reason it's cheaper at other places. Oh my God.
By quite a bit too. It's not just like $2.
Right. It's a lot. So I'm really proud of whoever invented GoodRx because it's very helpful. But anyway, this receptionist, I love her, by the way. I think she did a great job. Her name is Jenny Fagan and has been in Always Sunny, Liv and Maddie, Dexter, a lot of things. She's also a director and a producer for some things, which we love. I love her no-nonsense vibes. I think it's really rude that Andy just like flings the paper back in her face, kind of, to be honest.
Agreed.
We don't need that. We have the insurance card.
Yeah.
This is like paying for college classes all over again.
Yeah. The cocky, I have this all figured out situation.
Yeah. And I just love that she's like not about it. It's still $500. And then this was another thing. They had a deleted scene where the rubber band ball comes back. He's like, I'll give you a rubber band ball if you give me some money off of this. And she's like, I don't want that.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh, God. And then Andy dines and dash and runs and straight into an ambulance.
Great.
Absolute chaos. Chaos. Ugh.
Yeah. So good.
All right. Well, now we see the compromise of this campaign video, and it's actually so good, wonderful. It's cute. It undermines Bobby while showing Leslie in a positive light and not being like, it's not being too difficult or weird because it's his own campaign ad. Like, it's not like that's what I think is really brilliant about it is like they didn't write anything like they did in the first negative ad. Like they literally are just using his own words.
Right.
So I think that's really, really lovely.
Yeah. I love it too. I think this is a great idea.
Me too. And I'm glad that they had copies of her as a 10-year-old. That's a wonderful little nugget. This gal who plays young Leslie is Audrey P. Scott. She has been in a ton of things, a bunch of movies, Always Sunny, not Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but there's a movie called Always Sunny, Secretariat, okay. Goodbye to All That. She's done a lot of good work. I talked to her on Instagram and I sent her some questions, so I hope that she can get back to me because I'd love to hear how that day was on set or like if she remembers anything. I was like, I know you were really young, so like there's no worries if you don't remember anything, but
right.
Just let me know.
That'd be so awesome.
I know. I'll check too. But this is where they say, it has 1,000 views and Ben's like, there's no requests for a debate. There's no there's no nothing. And so then he gets a call, but we don't find out why until later.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay, well, now Ron is introducing Kyle, our friend Andy Forrest, who we interviewed. By the way, I'll post that link in there too, because Ron thinks that Chris wants a friend. And so Ron gets Kyle, who was just eating rice. Yep. So he assumes that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Assumes
you
that
obviously
the
are
Japanese
into Asian culture. Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle is so nice and kind of funny because he's just like, yeah, sure, that sounds fun. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whatever.
And I like this. I like how direct Chris is being here, where he's like, wait, level with me. Like, what's going on? Why are you doing this?
Right.
I'm not
I love
lonely.
that line. I have me.
I know. I love that line. That's what I was going to say.
Me too.
And a hot girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Also, I forgot that he was dating Millie because we haven't seen her in a minute.
Yeah. It's been a bit. When is the last time we saw her? The Halloween episode, maybe?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, but then Chris explains, I have to replace Ben. So, I want to see if you'd be up for the job. And, I wanted to spend time with you to see how we would work together and if we would be, a good fit kind of. And I thought that was, good to know.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to Ben and Leslie, meeting with Bobby Newport. I love this. This is a restaurant, so you can get whatever you want. I'll take a milkshake.
No, we're good. Oh, yeah. No, we're good. Also, this restaurant looks too nice to be in Pawnee. That's how I felt about the news center, too.
Interesting. Huh. Maybe it's in Eagleton. I don't know.
It could be.
Or on the borderline. I don't know. I do feel like Pawnee has like has random nice places. Like some of those restaurants that like where Tom and Ann go on their date and, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of them are nice. But that one does look swanky.
Yeah. It's swanky for sure.
And there's not really many people in there, so I'm sure that, I don't know if it was on purpose, but maybe they don't have a ton of people, like ton of clients that go to that place. I don't know, because it's so fancy.
Could be. Yeah.
I also like that they talked about what? Sorry, go ahead.
I just said not the right market.
Oh yeah, not the right market. I like that they mentioned milkshakes in both this episode and the last episode, like with the 1% milkshake.
I love milkshakes.
Me too.
So much.
Well, Bobby is basically saying, like, remove the video, take it down. Like, it didn't make me feel good. It was mean, which leads me to believe that this was totally online because people keep sending him the video. Like, his friends keep sending him the video and being, like, making fun of him. And I just love that, again, this is totally an Andy's kind of vibe of, like, just take it down. Like, it'd be so cool if you just stopped running. Like, just stop running. Just quit. But he's Rich Andy, and I just think that's really funny. The padded line, like, oh, it's not padded. That had to be improvised. That is so not scripted.
Oh, I know. It's so good. And it's so, it's so quick into the next line that sometimes you don't even have time to react to it. It's so funny.
I know. And I think they do a good job. Like, even if they did laugh, they would do a good job of like cutting that, and then keeping the improvised line. So, and like, you can tell, I don't know. Not that I know Paul Rudd from Adam, but it really did seem like he hurt himself.
Yeah.
And then Leslie asks, this is kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. Leslie is like, why are you even running? And he says he needs to get his dad off his back to like prove that he's doing something. And Bobby asks, like, why are you running? Who's your dad?
Yeah, who's your dad?
And Leslie like is saying her reasons, and it's just so funny because she's actually running for the town, and he thinks that like letting her do all the work if he were to win is like a compliment / a good thing, and while he's just the front man. And I was like, oh, Bobby.
Yeah, we see a little bit of toughness here from Leslie, but it's a toughness that I can get behind.
Yeah,
she's standing up for herself.
Well, this is where that common ground, I think, meets, where it's not too extreme on the side where it's like only tough, only negative, and only positive, only good things. It's right in the middle, because Leslie parrots Ben's words, saying like, we're gonna debate soon, and I know my stuff, so you should toughen up because you're gonna lose, basically.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it's great, because again, it's like, it's her way, it's like her personality to say what she's saying here, instead of like, I'm just gonna be tough and negative. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I love that Bobby asks who the little girl is. Like, can she be in my campaign?
Yeah.
That was me as a 10-year-old. How'd you do that?
Oh, I love him. Oh, I love him so much. The whole give it to me. I want it.
I know.
Go give it to me. Ivan quotes that all the time.
Oh,
in
really?
Many different situations. Yes. But he's like, to me, that is just the perfect rich kid, right? You're watching him go from asking kindly to throwing a tantrum because he's just noticing that he's not getting what he wants. So he's changing his tactic of like how he asks for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
totally.
like a little kid.
Totally. Just give it to me. Please, just give it to me. It'd be so cool if you just quit. Well, this tag is Andy and April on the bench outside the hospital, and Andy is even worse for wear than when he started.
Yep.
I just love that line of, well, you think you're doing it, and then you run into an ambulance every time. As if this happens all the time.
Yeah.
I will relate to Andy, though, and we've already kind of said this, when he's like, what is insurance? What else does it cover? Xbox games? Like, what is it?
Yeah, in the beginning, he thought it was only for cars. So.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Which is actually kind of funny because depending on your plan, if you have the HSA one where you like sometimes you're given a card, like a debit card kind of thing, you can actually use that to pay for a lot of things like feminine products. Sometimes you can use it for like Band-Aids and like medical supplies, stuff like that.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah. So that is
I have
a thing.
HSA and I did not know that. So that's cool.
And I was using it sometimes where, since it's a savings account, you can transfer the money from that account into your account, because say you have to pay out of pocket, that's like what the whole thing is for, essentially. So you can transfer money from that savings account into your account so that you're not actually paying for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of information. So, but yeah, this is where they get up off the bench. They're leaving, and then Bobby Newport is on the bench, and it's so perfect. I just love how they placed him in literally everything.
Everywhere. Yeah.
But
so good.
But yeah, well, that was campaign ad.
Campaign ad. We are meeting Bobby Newport. We're about to get into it.
Oh my God. Jen Barkley is about to be here. I'm so excited.
She's my favorite.
Oh my
God. I love her so much.
I'm going to reach out to her if I see her information. I don't even care. I also have it on my 2024 list to like potentially reach out to Amy Poehler. I'm going to be scared, but I'm going to try. She's still on tour with Tina Fey, and some of the tickets are less expensive because they added more dates. So I still don't think I can afford it just with like loans and everything. But I'm just letting everybody know that if you guys want to go, they did add more dates. So I do hope that it'll be recorded somewhere so we can all watch it together. That would be so fun. We'd all have to have like a little viewing party. But anyway, and then Bowling for Votes is our next episode, which I'm excited about. So we'll get into it when we get into it. That's one of my favorite things. Remember when I can't remember. Oh, it was what's his name? Biff Yeager, who plays the maintenance guy that catches Ben and Leslie kissing, where he was like, I don't really remember much about it. And then I emailed him with some stuff, with some information about it. And he was like, oh yeah, now that you're saying that, like maybe I do remember some stuff. Like who would have known? And I was like, I knew. That's one of my favorite things that Leslie says in that episode. Like, I love it. Who'd known you like wings? You like wings?
That's so weird. I knew.
Oh my gosh.
Good
anyway.
stuff.
Well, don't forget to rate and review us. And we will see you on the next time. I was going to say have like a nice November, but that's where we are, not where you are. And I don't care about keeping it evergreen.
Who knows
I'm
where
just
you
gonna
are?
tell you what's happening. Yeah, who knows what month. They are meeting today. They're taking a Saturday and they're going to be meeting. Who's to say? I don't know. It's interesting. They keep saying like, we're close, but we're also really far away. There's still a lot to be done. So who's to say? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hope that you guys have a good week / month, whatever time it is for you. And we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.